back for more to keep the raw, represent everyone's you and I verse. Gonna do a video on the moon being in Capricorn with the sun in Virgo and the influence on all signs. But first, we gonna play this music. You feel me? Yeah, get into it. Conscious in pursuit of president, speaking dollars, that's my president. Elevated, overthrow the president, flowing better than it's ever been. A young Anglo-American, golly, how we swiftly mix the recipe into custody belief. High vibe, zone and found myself. AU with the vision, heaven elemental, periodic verse hidden inside 47. You'll be astonished, chronic, oop, doted, smoking on my lungs. Pecker, punch, that sour weed, make my eyes bleed. Broken vision, fix it like my elemental malice. Murray, Pecker, chalice, green, make my chakras balance. Truly want a lady, but I'm blessed. Truly wanna thank ya. Truly wanna thank ya to my creator. Remember Kati, love renaissance to the fullest. It's all love from up above. Switching lanes, gripping on the wheel again to the fifth dimension. Face a whole 7 in a sit-in. Indian style do. Crippin' blood united too. But don't pass, Trump the blunt, fool. Started as a killing concerts. Inspired me to drop the bomb first. All these bitch made elitists. Indigo, the truly golden leaders. But it's gangland, so grab a heater. Cold as Alaska, we all King Kunta. Till these martial law pursue us. Another dead by police or interracial beef. Ground in the melting pot, divide and conquer. How they plan to feast. But yeah, we gonna go ahead and switch up the environment. You can catch that video. It's called Third Person on my, on my page. You feel me? And it's actually got a music video to it. And all things like that. But yeah, bear with me real quick. We're gonna go ahead and hit the office, you feel me? But yeah, shout out to everybody that watched the last video. It's the astro weather. But this time we're gonna go ahead and break down all the influences on all the signs. So go ahead and tap in, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit the like button, you share and subscribe, you feel me? And welcome to my YouTube channel, you feel me? We're gonna hit them with another banger this time, you dig? But yeah, we're gonna get right into it. So we got the moon in Capricorn, like I said, with the sun in Virgo. So keep in mind, this is a space where we're having the gift at this point in time to work on our, work on being the boss, feel me? But yeah, moving forward, we're gonna go ahead and get to all these rising signs, starting with Capricorn in the first house, rising and ascendant, right? And the first house is all about your personal affairs, your individuality. Pardon me real quick, I'm gonna get a drink. I'm in a little bit different environment than my usual. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all see me in a new spot, you feel me? I just so happen to be in a different spot right now. We're going to be back in the regular spot tomorrow, you feel me? Or the next video, whenever I happen to go live again. But yeah, like I say, with Capricorn, first house rising and ascendant, we're going to go ahead and say this is the being the boss of one's personal affairs or one's individuality. So keep in mind, Capricorn's in a space where it's at work, so it actually has to work with what it's got. So you have to work with your personal affairs that you've actually built up to at this point in time and begin to be the boss and take charge, excuse me. So keep in mind, the first house is all about accepting yourself as well, because at this point in time, whenever the moon is in your first house, you always want to realize that if you don't accept your own personal affairs and your own individuality, nobody will. You feel me? So that's kind of the circumstance situation. The first house and the fifth house are alike in that, like, you kind of got to accept yourself to be in a more beneficial and higher octave state. Moving forward, Sagittarius, first house rising and ascendant, is having Capricorn be in the second house. And the second house is all about your values of a person, place, thing, or idea. So essentially, at this point in time, you want to be the boss and take charge of your values and value systems. So like, be more conscientious about your money, like at this point in time, and don't just be out there spending your money willy-nilly and things like that, and just kind of want to go and party and things like that. So keep in mind, this moon is also conjuncting Dragon 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1 said any information on Leo. We actually gonna break down Leo whenever we get to the sixth house. So I'm saying, bear with me, and we're gonna break down your rising sign. So yeah, but right now we're breaking down Sagittarius. We're gonna get to Leo here in a moment. So thank you for tapping in. You feel me? But yeah, it's essentially all about being the boss of your values, Sagittarius, at this point in time. So essentially, whatever you value based on the people, places, and things that you're around, value generally means your money. So like, you don't want to be out here spending your money kind of crazy and things like that. You want to actually see how you can build more value and build more assets to oneself at this point in time instead of spending your assets. So kind of keep that in mind. You're on the higher octave if you have values to actually share and continue to build on. It's like, it takes money to make money kind of thing is like the little aspect you got going on right now. So if you don't have any money, you want to find a way that you can make more money to actually build on that aspect. You know what I'm saying? So moving forward, the Scorpio first house rising and ascendant is having the third house being in Capricorn. And keep in mind, Scorpio is a sextile to the Capricorn. So the Scorpio is able to see the opportunity and what they actually want to be the boss of, you know what I'm saying, and where they could actually get in, where they fit in, so to speak. So Scorpio has this internal passion, you know what I'm saying, to be more kind of like taking charge and things like that. They're already in that space. Like actually Capricorn is exalted in Mars, you know what I'm saying? And Scorpio's chart is ruled by Mars. It's a Martian ruled chart. So like your planetary ruler is actually Mars. So you're in a space where you want to see where can I actually be the boss and take charge based on my environment. And the Scorpio is able to see based on the actual temperament that individuals are working with, and they can see what kind of environment should I take part in, like, or who should I be around in my environment, and how could I actually be the boss of that. And how I like to break down the third house to put yourself in a more beneficial state. If you're an artist, you want to see, okay, who can I see the opportunity to actually work with based on them being a producer or an engineer or a videographer, and how could they actually benefit me based on my path that I'm working on. So essentially, Scorpio is on the higher octave. If they're being the boss of their environment, they're actually able to see how could I take charge of my environment. Or they're on the lower octave if they're in a space that I don't actually see who I could actually take part in, and this is an environment that I actually don't want to be in, and things like that. So you're seeing the opportunity to kind of be more recluse at this point in time if you're in the lower octave. And like I say, to rectify that, you want to see what is my actual internal passion and how could I benefit from that at this point in time, and who could I actually work with to benefit from that. Then moving forward, the Libra first house rising and ascendant is having the fourth house being in Capricorn. And keep in mind, Libra and Capricorn is a square. So Libra has to learn to be more, bossy or be more taking charge at this point in time. So they're in their private affairs being more of the boss at this point in time and learning to be the more of the boss. So it's like you don't actually want to be too relative at this point in time, Libra. You want to learn how to actually take charge of this circumstance situation and feel comfortable taking charge of what you're working on. If you're on the higher octave, you feel comfortable taking charge in your home and in private affairs and things of that nature. Or if you're on the lower octave, you kind of still being that individual that's just bringing balance to everybody else's circumstance and situation, but they're not actually reciprocating it for you and things like that. So moving forward, the Virgo first house rising and ascendant is having the fifth house being in Capricorn, and the fifth house is all about your expression. You know what I'm saying? Like I was mentioning earlier, the fifth and the first house are very alike. So it's in a space that you either feel comfortable accepting that you got to go ahead and take charge based on your expression. And Virgo, you have to take charge of the details at this point in time and express yourself and express those details, you know what I'm saying, to be in a more beneficial state. So keep in mind, this is also a trine. So you're going to have the gift to actually express yourself and be the boss of that expression that you're dealing with. And if you're on the lower octave, you feel uncomfortable kind of accepting oneself and accepting that, hey, this is actually my role I got to play. But you're on the higher octave if you realize, all right, this is my role, I'm going to go ahead and play it. You feel me? But getting back to Dragon 123561 said, any information on a Leo? You know what I'm saying? We're going to go ahead and break down Leo now. So Leo has Capricorn being in the sixth house. And keep in mind, the sixth in the first house is a 150 degree angle. It's a misunderstanding, aka an inconjunction. So Leo may be in a space that they're being a little bit too consistent based on wanting to shine and be the star of the show to a point where they actually don't take charge based on what they're working on or who they're working on things with, or their actual reaching in pattern. They want to kind of just go ahead and shine and make everybody, you know what I'm saying, be able to be in a space that they're more accepted. At this point in time, you might actually have to take charge of your circumstance situation and kind of rub somebody the wrong way, so to speak. and based on you actually taking charge of your own routine and pattern and say, I'm saying this isn't working for me, so I don't actually want to work on this. And that might rub somebody the wrong way, but at the end of the day, that's what you have to do at this point in time. You have to work with what you got and work with what you can actually take charge of, Leo. You know what I'm saying? So either feel comfortable taking charge of your routine and pattern on the higher octave, or you're in a space where you're kind of just being a pushover and letting everybody else kind of determine your own routine and pattern. You're always consistent upon that space of, oh, it's okay. I'm saying I'll just go ahead and do what is necessary for other people and not actually kind of get that reciprocation. But if you're actually benefiting, you're actually building upon the circumstance situation in the future, then you're in a beneficial state. But yeah, moving forward, the Cancer first house rising and ascendant is having the seventh house being in a Capricorn. And keep in mind, the seventh house is opposite to the first house. So you're in a state where you can either add on or oppose. You know what I'm saying? So at this point in time, if you're just kind of working on being a soldier, you want to realize, okay, how can I add on to someone being the boss that I'm relative to? You know what I'm saying? Or you're in a state where it's like, I actually am the boss, and I actually got to oppose these certain soldiers, you know what I'm saying, and be less, you know what I'm saying, give a little, don't have so much give to me, you know what I'm saying, to a point where it's like, I might not actually feel comfortable being this person way in my personal life, but at the end of the day, that's actually what we need to do to take charge and actually have things work, you feel me? So in the seventh house, you either feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, taking charge, or you feel uncomfortable taking charge in your relations and relationships, Cancer. If you're on the lower octave, you feel uncomfortable taking charge. Or if you're on the higher octave, you feel comfortable taking charge and saying, okay, I am the soldier, but I'm going to go ahead and be in charge of being I'm saying, take control of what I can control and be a good soldier, so to speak. But if you actually are being the boss, then you're in a space where you can like actually, you know what I'm saying, take charge of other individuals and say, yeah, this is what you got to do for us to actually to achieve, you know what I'm saying, greatness, so to speak. So then moving forward, the Gemini first house rising and ascendant is having the eighth house being in Capricorn. And keep in mind, the eighth house is all about your behind the scenes, secrets, and transformation. So essentially, you're in a state where you're also in that in conjunction energy, kind of like to the Leo. And the Gemini is kind of in a space where it's like, do I actually want to adapt to circumstance situations, or do I want to actually take charge of my circumstance situation and kind of bring in more of a rebirth energy? I'm saying what I got going on behind the scenes, I need to take charge of that and actually go ahead and work on this transformation and do the shadow work at this point in time. So you feel comfortable doing the shadow work on the higher octave, being this Gemini, or you're on the lower octave to a point where it's like, nah, I'd rather just go ahead and adapt to everybody else's circumstance situation and transform myself for other people's betterment and things of that nature. So I'm saying you actually want to work on things behind the scenes and work on yourself at this point in time to put yourself in the higher octave, Gemini. So then moving forward, the Taurus, first house rising and ascendant, is dealing with the ninth house being in Capricorn. And keep in mind, the ninth house is all about your knowledge, wisdom, experience, and also your morality, right? And also your travel. So at this point in time, the Taurus, if they have the actual value systems and actually they can work on being the boss and they can travel to other circumstance situations and be the boss in other aspects, then they're in a point where you actually have funds to go ahead and do this. You know what I'm saying? You're already accumulated enough value and you've accumulated enough status to actually benefit oneself. So essentially, you're being the boss of your experience and being the boss of your morality. So whatever you're working on, you're actually the boss of this circumstance situation at this point in time, and you're taking charge. And if you're on the higher octave, you feel comfortable taking charge of your experience and taking charge of your morality. Or if you're on the lower octave, you're in a state where it's like, my circumstance situation and my experience that I'm dealing with, I don't actually want to take charge. I just kind of want to play the background to a point where I don't even want to take charge of my own life. I'd rather just go ahead and be consistent and being comfortable. You feel me? And keep in mind, this is the gift for the Taurus. So the Taurus is able to have the gift to be the boss of their circumstance situation. So like you want to take advantage of that energy at this point in time. So then moving forward, the Aries first house rising and ascendant is having the 10th house being in Capricorn. And keep in mind, the 10th house is all about your status, your blueprint, and your career, and what you're known for. You know what I'm saying? So the Aries has to work on being the boss of their status and what they're known for, and be in a more comfortable state to actually take charge of what they're known for at this point in time. And if you're in a kind of lower active state where you actually don't want to be known for certain circumstance situations, you want to go ahead and get on your 1-2 and go ahead and work on the actual status that you're in, things like that. So like you could actually be put in a better light at this point in time. And on the higher octave, you feel comfortable taking charge of your status. Or you're on the lower octave, you're like, this is what I'm known for. It's just me and things like that. And I don't really feel like taking charge. And that's in the lower octave circumstance situation. And then moving forward, the Pisces first house rising and ascendant is having the 11th house being in Capricorn. And the 11th house is all about your association, your public persona, and like your internet persona, so to speak, as well. So it's also technology. So keep in mind, the Pisces in a state where they're able to see the opportunity, the sextile. So they're being the boss of their associates. And the Pisces is able to see, okay, what association do I want to be a part of? How could I actually be the boss of this association or these associates of this group that I'm working with? Or you're in a state where it's like, how could I actually work towards, being a good soldier to actually learn how to be a better boss and like actually learn from the boss to put myself in a better state based on my association to this person of a higher echelon and things like that. So essentially, you feel comfortable taking charge of what you're, a part of the group with. Whatever part of the group you're in, or whatever part of the group you're a part of. So it's like it's either you're in charge of the group, or you're just, a working cog in the wheel, so to speak. You either want to take charge of, in either circumstance situation, you want to take charge of whatever role that you do play, Pisces, and you feel comfortable taking charge of that in the higher octave, and you feel uncomfortable taking charge of that on the lower octave to a point where it's like, I do want to be the boss, but I know I'm a worker right now, but at the end of the day, I don't really feel like comfortable doing that. I just want to be known as the boss. So that's the kind of circumstance situation where you got to work your way up. That's what Capricorn is all about. Putting your building block one on top of the other and working towards where you want to be. So moving forward, the Aquarius, last but not least, is having Capricorn being the 12th house. So keep in mind, Capricorn in the 12th house as being the boss of your dreams, illusions, and nightmares, and also being the boss of your faith to a point where it's like, okay, maybe I may have false beliefs as well. So you're in a state where it's like, okay, can I actually take charge of what I'm dreaming? Can I actually take charge and actually put this into action, so to speak? Can I actually work on my dream at this point in time? Is this a faith that I could actually be a part of and actually bring into reality and things like that? So that's kind of what you want to keep your mind on. Does it actually something that could actually work for you and things like that? Or is this like a false belief to a point where it's like, this is so far out to a point where I can't even actually work on this? You actually want to find what you could actually work on. So yeah, that's about all we got, you feel me? So thank y'all for tapping into this video. If you watched the last video, I'm very grateful for y'all. Peace and love to you, believe in all that. And thank you for everybody watching this on the replay. Thank you for everybody that was in the live chat. I'm very grateful for y'all. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for commenting below, you feel me? And let me know what house you have Capricorn participating in, and things like that. So go ahead and hit me on the email. This is below, conscious1347@gmail.com. Or you can support the movement you need be in tune with, you feel me? And that's my Cash App at CONSCIOUS1347. If you want to, see how to spell that or kind of copy it, you go ahead and go to my About on my channel. So, like I said, the song that I played is called Third Person. That's on my Origins album. And peace and love if you believe in all that. Thank you all for tapping in.